Hey everybody, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Welcome back to a normal. Welcome back to our traditional live. We have been all over the place, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes. And it's been quite the experience. We've got lots of information to share with you guys. Good stuff, maybe not so good stuff. And then, of course, if we get to it, we have the good news, which I know you guys are looking forward to.
That's not the good stuff.
That's not the good stuff. All right, let's get some hellos in here real quick. Let's see here. Helen was the first one in. Good evening, Helen. The beautiful Louise Wesley is in the house. Good to see you. Yad. Maybe my memory serves me poorly, but I do not remember seeing Yad in the live before. But welcome, Yad. The greatest name on the internet.
Half bubble up them.
Is in the house. Nitos, how are you, my friend? I'd love to see a post on your progress. Let's see here. My buddy Sharpshooter. If you ever get a chance to see Sharpshooter, which he did a live and nobody asked him how he got his name in live. I have to tell you guys, I was incredibly disappointed.
Did you call him Sharpshooter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. His name actually, title under it was Sharpshooter.
Oh, so they couldn't have missed it.
The king himself, Jeff Gypsy, Hefty Lefty, Amazon Mud Dogger Slick. Phyllis is in the house. Aljo, good to see you. Barbara, hello to you as well. Redneck, what's up, buddy? Dave and Sonia in Michigan. There's another YouTube channel. Good to see you. Dana Green, welcome in. JCK, citizen, broadcaster. We're going to talk a bunch about you tonight. And this, I'm going to encourage everybody to go get involved. Leela's in the house. Good to see you, Leela. Terminator, good to see you. Carrie Davis, hello. Mary Michelle says, hi, everyone. Hi back. Jane, good to see you. Yad says it's the first time. Well, good. I'm super happy to see you. Let's see here. Indiana Mike, ahoy to you. No live is complete without a
crack rat.
And Stan Gunther's in the house, as is Instigator. Let's see here. Instigator's always got something to start us off with. He says, I'm coining a new word, perspirational, to sweat while doing physical labor, which is inspirational or the result of inspiration.
Perspirational?
See here, my buddy Squatchy. What's going on? Hey, life with Mike and Jen. We're going to talk a bunch about you guys tonight, too. Yeah, no, it's good. We just spent a few days down hanging out with them and seeing that beautiful part of the country. And so we'll just talk about that. Yes, it was. I think I said hello to Helen, didn't I?
Yes,
she was the first one.
She was the first one here.
Yep. Okay, got it. Juby Joe, how you doing? And Lindsay Freeze says, hi, it's been a couple weeks for me. We have been super busy. Boy, do I relate. I take no offense by it. Yeah. Oh, Danielson. Danielson, right? I think I'm
had chopsticks.
Yep. So far, let's see. We've got 43 people on the live. It's good to see everybody. And if you've never commented, please comment. I'd love to get to know you, and I'd love to pick on you, and I'd love to make some kind of nickname or something.
I'd love to pick on you. Yeah, that's going to encourage them.
Oh my goodness. So the homestead's been busy, but not in the way we would normally do it. I have not spent any time on
not homesteady.
Yeah. I just have not spent a lot of time. I have been so wrapped up in work and then the things that are going on in our county, which I'm going to talk a ton about tonight. I've gotten to work a little bit here and there, and I'm super proud of the work I'm doing because that's just so little that I get to do it.
Yeah. I told Jeff today that you're, or maybe it was the neighbor. I think it was the neighbor. I said, you're here, but I haven't seen you all week.
Yeah. Well, it ain't going to get done if I don't go do it. Right.
Well, you're like sitting in front of the computer, I think.
Yeah.
Or on meetings or in other lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Wednesday, I did 9 meetings. The shortest one was an hour.
And 2 lives? Or was that?
No, that's a whole different day. Then I was on 2 different podcasts, Living Free in Tennessee and Reality Survival this week. Next week, I'm on Billy Bond show next week, which will be pretty cool. We'll talk about all that good stuff. But Starla Doke, welcome in. Nito says the batteries and inverters are on the wall and wired. Excellent. A 200-foot ditch dug with most of the conduit inside and about half filled in. Excellent. Well, you make sure when we get it all done. I know you will. Let me know, but let me know in the live too, so we can do that.
Progress.
I'm off-grid scream for everybody, which would be super exciting.
Off-grid scream.
Yeah,
how spirit fingers.
No, how like Dave Ramsey does the I'm out of debt scream. Anyway, I just made it up, so I went. Conserve friend, good to see you. It says, it's a miracle. I'm awake after dinner, 2 weeks in a row. Hello, life and family. Did I tell Bonnie welcome?
No.
Bonnie.
Welcome, Bonnie.
Bonnie, welcome. Got it. Okay. Hey, I was joking with B. She don't think I'm very funny, but let's see if you guys think I'm funny. So a long time ago, earlier in the community when it was smaller, they used to do this girls' lunch. We're just maybe once a month, all the girls went out.
Once a month.
That was, yeah. So all the girls would go out and they'd have a lunch wherever, and they'd talk about whatever girls talk about. And just the girls, none of the guys, and they would go do those. But as we grew as a community and as we continue to grow, those things become to get harder and harder and harder to do because there's more people.
It's scheduling.
And scheduling and fitting, all of those things. And that's really, really hard. But anyway, I've been encouraging B that through, I had a conversation with Garen from Grumpy Acres. Anyway, we were talking about it. So I was encouraging B, and I made a joke to her. You guys know, like the ladies of the red hats, that go to the, town halls.
Like old ladies.
Yeah, I know they're old ladies. They all have red hats on. I was thinking that they could create a club. Okay, check this out. Ready? The tinfoil hat ladies. And they could all make custom tinfoil hats
and go out
in
them?
public.
No.
Come on, you guys, give me your support.
It's ridiculous.
This is a fabulous idea.
He's lost his mind.
Hey, I want to welcome in my good friend Silver Lining. Good to see you, buddy. Hello. Yeah. So I guess let's just get rolling tonight, huh?
Let's get rolling.
Yeah. See, Conserve Friends is completely supportive.
Yeah. I don't think ha is the point.
Yeah, Conserve Friends, could you be a little more convincing? Just a little. Help a brother out,
Like 4 exclamation points instead.
Yeah, Jen says, step back, Red Hat Society. Louise says, cone on B, it's a challenge.
I think it's supposed to be come on.
Oh, look at that. You got your exclamation points. Yeah. Lindsay says, my girls have asked me to leave my tinfoil hat at home. I think if we could get them to go to a restaurant with all tinfoil hats, I could film it. It would be, and just film all the people coming in and out. Oh my gosh, I would be rolling.
It would have to be a special place that we go. Just be any old place.
Yeah, well, I think the ladies of our community should go have lunch once a month dressed in tinfoil hats. I think it would be great. I'm going to continue to recommend it. Hey, I want to welcome in One Step Closer. How you doing, bud? One Step Closer, you've made a couple quotes that I share all the time, just so you know.
Pretty people.
My favorite quote from One Step Closer is, you can buy land anywhere. I want to buy neighbors. Yeah, really good. My good friend Scott Horn is in the house. What's up? Seen him last night. Starlet Oak said, I would drive up there just to wear the tinfoil hat. See, look at all of the support. See, look at this. Man.
That's crazy.
Leela says, oh no, B, you can join the Red Hat Society as a full-fledged member at 50. And you can join as a junior member anytime before that. You don't have to be. You don't have to be old. Yeah, that'd be funny. Jen says, might as well be a butcher cone. Yeah, see, your tinfoil hat, we could use a chicken cone.
No, my chicken cones are used.
Yeah, Juby says the Red Hats in Houston accidentally called after I rolled out. See, Louise says we need to be doing it finer than frog hair. So monthly meeting with the ladies in tinfoil hats.
What are they gonna? They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what are these ladies doing?
Yeah, I love this. I love this, guys. If I lived close, I would definitely be there with a tinfoil hat and bells on. See, look at this.
And bells.
Yep. One Step Closer says tinfoil cowboy hats. See, I think all of them design their own cowboy hat, make their own flower, their own hat, make your own
turkey feather in it.
A turkey feather in it, whatever. Yeah, it'd be hilarious. Yeah, ACM Homestead's in the house. Good to see you. I've seen you yesterday too. Let's see here. Cag, I will make a tinfoil hat and send you a pic of me wearing it. Please do, and we'll put it on the live. Jen says they wash. Ask my daughter. They're consistently doing weird stuff. And Starla says maybe a couple of wire coat hanger antennas.
That's more like a Martian.
Oh, that's just absolutely great. Let's see here. Those women are awesome. And what's up, Valmento Paratrooper? Good to see you.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Come on. No, who just sent you that?
It's really funny how things work sometimes. You know that? Let's see. I got some.
Oh, the instigator.
I got to show you guys this. This is actually absolutely hilarious.
Share your
Yeah.
screen.
So here's a picture of the ladies right there. See?
Those look like Hershey's Kisses.
That could be you.
Yeah.
That could be you.
The crazy thing is you want that to be me. That's the crazy part.
Gary Davis says, "A tiara
would be better."
Yeah. Bubble Off Plum says, "Make a crazy trophy for the best tinfoil hat design in each meeting and encourage them to continue to adapt them and grow them. So what starts as a small hat ends up with these big, colonial."
Like the derby hats, as weird as can be.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Those do look like Hershey's Kisses, though.
All right. So what's been going on around here? So we have, as you guys know, that I'm a big believer, and as all of you guys should be, that you got to get involved locally, because I no longer believe there's a political solution to our problems at the federal level, or really at the state level in a lot of ways. And so what we have to do is really work hard to get the sheriff we want and the school boards we want, and get the commissions to do the things that allow us to live the life the way we want to live. And so it's always something going on for us. Early in the year, late last year, we got a ordinance changed that would change the zoning from 20 acres to 3 acres. We got it wiped out. 2516 resolution would allow the tax man to enter your property without your permission. We got that knocked out of there. And then came the big doozy. And I think it's kind of funny, whether it's God or karma or whatever you want to call it, says, "Oh, you think that was fun? I'm going to give you something a lot harder." And so my county decided that they wanted to bring in up to a 12,000 acre solar farm. And if you guys, to put that into context, what is a 12,000 acre solar farm? I know that's hard to think about, but I mean, that's 30 million solar panels.
Yeah.
Okay. If you lined up the solar panels according to the dimension of my solar panels and you lined them end to end, it would go from Midwest USA to Buenos Aires. Yeah. I mean, all the way down to the bottom of South America. And so this is a big deal, right? And we don't want it here, and certainly don't want it here without a whole bunch of stipulations. And so we kind of had to get on it. So a lot of things have happened. We've been to meetings. We've went and talked to commissioners. We've done lots of things. But the latest thing that we did was we had the planning meeting that went on this week, actually yesterday, and we all attended it. Many of us spoke. And but prior to going to that meeting, what also managed to get done, check this out. The billboard got put up. So my county, they don't want to let the citizens vote. They think that the county commissioners have the power, which they do. But this is not a big enough topic to take to the people. And so a billboard got put up.
And this is a ginormous billboard.
Yes. Got lights for the nighttime and everything. This is right in town, in the biggest town closest to me, in the county seat of the county that I live in.
It's just outside of town, though.
Yeah, it's right there on the edge. Yeah. But when you're coming into town, you're gonna absolutely
can't miss it.
You're gonna absolutely see it. And I think the sign does a lot of things, and it's in a lot of ways is a psyop from the perspective of what you're really doing is getting people to call the commissioners. You're getting activity, and I think that's really, really good and healthy. I think, and I've said this before, if the majority of the people want it and they can do it safely and without affecting somebody else, then the majority of the people should win this conversation. But I will tell you, I do not believe that to be the case. Let's see here. Terminator says, "Tag us, Canadians have been fighting to save the ostriches in British Columbia, and our government is finally discussing the issue. We are finally starting to stand up and fight." Well, we got to stand up and fight everywhere, guys. We're absolutely got to stand and fight. Let's see here. JCK says, Kelly is going to see that on Mondays. Yeah, and the commissioners have to drive by this on their way to work every single Monday. And so it also would be a great reminder, right? So
a reminder to them that they've made somebody mad.
Yep. Design 2C says, so silly. Decent solar panels on rooftops will solve problems, and advantages in technology should make them safer and more efficient. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about this, about what the cons are to it, and what are some of the arguments kind of being made. And I want to Design 2C, if I didn't say it, welcome in. Marcia Newsom's in the house. How are you, my friend? Says, why don't they bring that to Arizona? We have plenty of desert for a solar farm and lots of sunshine to boot.
Somebody did mention it should have been taken to a desert situation.
Yeah, I think there's several reasons for that. I think when you get into the Midwest, it's sparse. And I do not mean this disrespectful when I say this, but the county commissioners aren't going to be these, and typically are going to be these super astute, swift lawyer educated county, commissioners, they're farmers and so I think that maybe these big companies like this see it as an easy target in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I mean, I know Arizona's awful sunny, so I would imagine it would do, from a performance wise, would do fine, but
it's sunny.
Yeah.
Maybe the heat would bother them though.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Let's see here. Hippocrates says part of the reason is power needs generated close to the usage point. Transmission is expensive and has losses. Yeah, but what's crazy about this, Hippocrates, is this solar plant, assuming that it comes to our county, we're not going to get any of the power.
Right.
They're going to sell it into a co-op and send it wherever it is they send it, but there really won't be a good benefit for Jackson County. I want to tell you guys though that this takes a lot of work. You got to show up. You got to be willing to speak. Even if your voice trembles, you got to be willing to get up there, because if you don't, you're never going to get anything changed. One of us cannot do it alone. And, speaking of doing it alone, and I've introduced you guys to them before, but JCK Citizen Broadcaster, who is part of our community and who's in this chat here tonight. So she goes every single Monday to the county commissioners meeting. She films every single meeting. And without her, we couldn't hold them accountable.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that. We just couldn't. There's just absolutely no way.
And she's gotten a lot of heat from
You bet.
them recording it.
Yep. Well, and it's been hard, and she's had to sacrifice a lot, but that's the commitment she made. We always talk about do your part plus a little bit.
Yeah.
And, Kathleen has figured out that her little bit is that.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't tell you how appreciative we are. We would not be as far as we are without it. So I would encourage, and the mods who are in the chat tonight, please put the link to this YouTube channel out there. And you guys, and I know you guys know this, I never ask anybody to subscribe to my channel. I don't ask you to like it. I don't go do those kinds of things. But if you guys want to support somebody who's actually in the fight, who is doing it every single day, and a lot of times doing it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeping those meetings recorded. And because of those recordings, we've been able to file things like CORA and COMA requests and complaints, right? Because of those, we get to go back, and will for a long time, because it's forever, right? So if you guys can do it, I would really, really encourage you guys to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now she has 239 subscribers.
Yep. Yep. And, I would gladly do all I could to help this channel grow, not just even from a growth perspective. Just go encourage her. Go subscribe to the channel and tell her to keep the fight up, that there are people out there who give a shit and it matters. And even though you're by yourself, sometimes you got to remember that you're doing it for the greater good, and you're doing it for people not just here in Kansas.
Yeah.
Because you get to be an example for people all over the place.
Well,
right?
There's often people go, I have no worth. What can I do? Perfect example.
Oh my goodness.
Every Monday, that's time out of her day that she has to take, that she does this for the greater good of all of us, so that we don't have to, like Tag. I have not seen him all week long. If he had to take time out to go to these meetings every Monday, he would be farther back from where he needs to be. So in this situation, he could turn this on and drive down the road, or turn this on and do something that he can listen and pay attention to, and then go, wait, what did they just say? And be able to fast forward and rewind and then send it to somebody else and go, did you hear this? And, get somebody else's interest. And so to have these, that's a great opportunity for all of us to be able to see what was said, what's going on.
Well, and again, and what a role model. It says that you can do it. You don't have to be an attorney. You don't have to be any of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
You can be just you, and you can go in there and you can help the populace hold our elected officials accountable. Which, what's more American than that? Right. The link, you guys, is on the screen. And again, I would consider it a personal favor if you guys would go over there, and I want you to subscribe, but equally important, I want you to tell her to keep going. I want you to tell her that it matters. I want you to tell her that you're listening. I want you to tell her that you count on her. I want you to tell those things, because all of those things are true for me. And we've got a big fight in front of us, and we need all of us as motivated and as driven as we can possibly be if we're going to go and win this thing. Instigator had a very good point to say that the more subscribers and views she gets, the more the commissioners know her recordings are being seen.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, he's got that right.
Look at that. I subscribed, right? Yeah, let's see. I subscribed, just subscribed.
Thank you.
Yeah, up to 251 just subscribed. Yeah, you guys are amazing, and we've grown to be quite the family around here. And I promise you, I will do everything I can not to ask for things for me, but let's ask them for things that help us advance freedom. Yeah. And you know, it's been a big fight. I'll tell you guys before I get into the meeting and how the meeting went. I'll tell you one of my favorite moments of the entire meeting, and there was a couple of them that were significant, but one I want to talk about now was when actually the meeting was over. And I'm walking out, and you know, I'm exhausted because you know how you got to get kind of emotionally up if you're going to go in there and you're going to do those things, because it's not just the speech you give, which I gave one, but it's also all the conversations that go on, and you want to be motivating and positive and driven. And so by the time you get to the end of the night, it's a little bit like, you know, same like when I go speak at conventions and I give a speech about freedom. You know, by the time I walk off stage, it's like this weird down thing, like that energy goes. Anyway, so I'm walking out the building, and CJK Citizen Broadcaster was walking out as well. So we were walking out together, and I looked at her and I said, you know, you should be proud. This is kind of your baby. And she turned around and looked at me and gave me this smile and said, it is my baby. And it made my whole day. Just absolutely made my whole day. It was completely badass. And I'll remember that moment a lot, because this is somebody who's worked really, really hard for this, you know, and put a lot of hours and a lot of energy in. And it's not just her. You know, I talk about her because she's played such a fundamental role, but there's many of them, you know, that I could talk about over and over again. But anyway, I just want to do a special thank you out to JCK Citizen Broadcaster. You've made a difference. You're continuing to make a difference, you know, and there's always a critic. I want you to know that, you know, just like, you know, Teddy Roosevelt said, that the credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. You know, his face is marred by sweat and blood and tears, so that if he fails while daring greatly. So his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls that know neither victory or defeat. And I salute you, and I want you to know that publicly. That's about all I can say about that. So let's get on to the meeting. So let's give you some statistics from our meeting. Now, we're a small county here, but 208 people attended. That is the largest attended public meeting I've ever been at in my county. 28 of our community members spoke. 56 people spoke total. There were 3. Sorry, I'm playing with. She gets so mad at me because I fiddle with a pen the whole time.
Well, just quit making noise.
58 people spoke. 3 were Nextera reps. So 3 of the 56 people who spoke were Nextera. 8 were for industrial solar. 45 were opposed to industrial solar. The speaking, when you go watch the video, and if you guys go to JCK Citizen Broadcaster, and in fact, if one of the mods would actually put the video link up from this meeting, I would gladly share it. And it will have come out. It'll be her latest video that came out on her channel. But the speaking begins. You need to fast forward because the speaking begins at the 26-minute mark. The first 26 minutes is just people coming in and out and all of those things. One of the things I like about JCK is she don't edit it. It just is what it is, you know. Which is nice because you don't have to think that she's trying to cut something out that she didn't want you to see. Yeah. It is raw. It is there. You can see it all. Yep. So it starts at the 26-minute mark. And what was funny about the meeting is within the first few minutes, the 39-minute mark. And again, here's the link right here, you guys. Thank you so much, Jen. With the 39-minute mark, they broke their own rules. And so that actually really helps us. Well, from 26 to 39, is that? At the 30. It started at 26. The actual speaking starts at 26 minutes in, but at 39 minutes in? At the 39-minute mark of the video. Yeah. They broke their own rules. Okay. So let me explain what that means. So we, one of the rules they had is you could only speak about the actual solar regulations, and you had to reference the exact section, you know, like say in section 4-1, you say blah, 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 blah. I think it should say blah, 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 blah. Those are those rules. Well, when the Nextera reps came up to talk, and it was actually the lead designer for Nextera got up to talk, he went on to talk about the benefits of solar, and they never stopped him. He wasn't referring to the exact section. He was just speaking up. So which then one of our community's members says, hold on. You guys are breaking the rules. You said that this were the rules and you've allowed this to go on. And another community member screams from across the room, point of order. They've already now set the new rules. And so they could not, for the rest of the night, they could not stop what we said. So they actually blundered the beginning of it, which I'm going to tell you guys something from my perspective was just wonderful. It allowed anybody to say whatever they wanted to say about it. You didn't have to reference it anymore. But not only did it do that, it also set the rules for the next one. Does it? It does, because what they said is we're going to have 2 meetings. You cannot treat people differently or you violate the First Amendment.
Well, because
rights.
there were people that were signed up to speak that didn't get a chance to
speak. And there's people already signed up for the next meeting.
Okay.
And so you can't, if the Supreme Court has ruled, and this is all over case document, I've read a ton of it.
Okay.
Okay. And what it says is you can't treat people differently. You could put rules on the meeting. You can say you only can talk about this.
Yeah.
But you can't let one person talk about anything unless you let everybody talk about it. And this is the rule. So they got themselves in a little bit of a pinch. And with this pinch, obviously I'm going to use it when I go do my next speech, because I stuck to the rules. I did exactly, what they had asked to do. Let's see here. Citizen Broadcaster says that was amazing. Yep. Stan Gunther subscribed. Lazy Loper subscribed. Yeah. Juby Joe says Jen is always on point. Yes, she is. Lazy Loper, welcome in. Good to see you. Hoping I didn't miss somebody. Barbara, did I say hello to you? I don't know if I did or not. If I didn't, Barbara, hello. And if I did already, hello twice. All right. So the meeting, as I mentioned to you guys, was completely packed. And the way that they did it is the people who had filled out the solar feedback form ahead of time were allowed to speak in alphabetical order. This is why the attorneys and the people for NextEra Energy weren't up until the 39-minute mark, because they did it by alphabetical order. Make sense?
Yeah.
So they did that. Once they got through the alphabetical order, then what they did is anybody that signed up the night of the meeting, like I did, they would take them in the order in which they spoke. And so let me go back one slide real quick in case you guys want to do some minute marks. So one of the speeches I want to point out to you was at the 1 hour and 15-minute mark. There was this little lady. I didn't even know her.
Right.
This little lady.
Was that the lady in red?
Lady in red.
Yeah.
And she came.
Pictures.
Yeah, she came up to talk about Jeffries Energy from a windmill perspective, because they have a farm in Nemaha County, not far from us. And she just, had all these pictures of them destroying the roads and tearing farmers' fences down, and and all of these things. And it was quite funny to me, because the attorney for NextEra stood up and talked about all this is about is property rights, and the commission needs to stand up for these people's property rights who want this farm on their land. To which I directed him in my speech, which you can find at the 1 hour and 40-minute mark. I looked right at him and I said, property rights means everybody, not just the people putting the solar panels, but their neighbors and anybody that could potentially be affected or who could lose their rights, or their property or whatever it is from, these kinds of decisions. Kathleen from the Citizens Broadcast Channel, she speaks at the hour and 29-minute marks. But guys, if you go through there's a lot of our community in there that spoke, and they were eloquent. I was very, very proud of them. Today up here working, I was in my office all day today, as like it's been. And so I had it playing in the background, been between phone calls and meetings and stuff. And I got to about 2 hours and 15 minutes as far as I've made it through the whole video. And I had it on all day, just between things. So the ones that I've seen so far are really, really cool. And I really encourage you guys to go and watch it. And this is the reason why. The question of whether or not you're going to have to stand up to your county is done. Okay, the question is, when are you going to have to stand up to your county? When you're going to have to stand up to your city? When you're going to have to take a stand? And if you go and watch these kinds of things, what you'll learn is process, procedure. What you'll also learn is what happens. Because my second most favorite part of the night, let me go back to the pictures here real quick. My second favorite part of the night was the chairman of this planning board is a guy named Jonathan Weimer. And Jonathan Weimer said at the beginning of the meeting that one of the rules, excuse me, or not, he didn't say at the beginning of the meeting, as soon as the first person spoke, opposed, the entire crowd erupted in applause.
Not the entire crowd.
A lot of them, the majority. Yeah, the majority of them. And so Jonathan, with his gavel, order, 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 order. And everybody ignored him. And all night long, he was trying to beat his gavel on a table to tell us order, and nobody would listen to him. Eventually, as the night went on, he gave up and he quit asking for order. And to me, that's just, it's like a fine dance, a fine wine, an orchestra. It's absolutely beautiful, in my opinion. Hey, let's see here. Aljo, subscribe. Good to see you. Yeah, one step closer said, I already said that. One step closer said, sounds like they kicked the wrong hornet's nest. Yep, Helen said, wow, a 3.5 hour video, just checked it out. Yeah, Helen, here's the crazy thing. Did you know they would not allow any citizen to speak for longer than 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
So we took up 3 hours speaking in 3-minute speeches. And they were right on top of it. Your 3 minutes was up, a beeper went on, you're done.
Yeah.
Middle sentence, so It's pretty cool.
I even felt like they'd kind of started the timer a few times before people started talking.
Yeah.
And the timer is up on the screen, so you could see it counting down as you're doing your talking.
Yeah. If you look at the picture in the top right-hand corner, you can see that that's a picture out in the hallway.
Yeah, which is ridiculous that they have a town meeting and they didn't have a room big enough for the town.
Babe, they
had.
I can quote one of the commissioners.
People in the hallway, which in my opinion was not acceptable, right?
Yeah.
Because those people in the hallway couldn't even hear what was
going on.
A lot of them left.
A lot of them left. One of the commissioners had told me prior to the meeting that they anticipated maybe 20 to 30 people showing up.
Mm.
You know, the best count I got, I shared with you guys, but I'm not even sure I had the right count because it's hard. There's people everywhere, you know. But anyway, that's what we got into it. But all right, where are we at here? Yeah, Love Runs Rampant says they always seem to break their own rules. Barbara said, yes, you did say hi with Aljo. Yeah, okay, my bad. I have a hard time remembering because there's just, you know,
you've been super busy.
Yeah, and the truth is a lot of you, which is pretty cool, right? Let's see here. Citizen Broadcaster said everyone did an excellent job last night. Yeah, and I'm sure, again, speaking directly to you, I'm sure it brings you great joy and love in your heart to know that all of these people stood with you and beside you and behind you, you know, in a lot of ways. And I'd be very proud if I was you. And I absolutely know that you are. Let's see here. Packrat says, it's come to our county. Guys, stand up. Packrat, I'm going to tell you something. One person is going to do nothing. All you're going to do is be a pain in the ass, right? Ask Citizen Broadcaster. What happens when there's just one of you? The only way it works is you're going to have to get in there and you're going to have to, you know, we've taken it to social media. We've taken it everywhere. We've talked to all of our friends. We've done all of these things to say, hey, not so much to say go oppose it, even though that would be primarily this community's position, but to say, go get involved, go speak your piece, get out. Come on, we've got to do this. We got to do this right now. Packrat says, when you get to Tennessee, you will hear about Nicole's friend who's a raw milk producer. The Department of Agriculture says she cannot sell yogurt or butter from herd share. You know who I would, if you know her and you can talk to her, I would have her get a hold of Mark Baker at the Anyone Can Farm Experience, Baker's Green Acres. He took on the FDA over raw milk and won. And so I think he would be a great resource. Let's see, Love Runs Rampant says, we get 3 minutes at our meetings too. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but you know what? It's funny. I rehearsed my speech a couple times and I was at 3 minutes and like 7 seconds, 3 minutes and 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And I finished with like 3 seconds extra because obviously it always goes quicker.
You were speaking fast.
Well, I had to get a lot of points in.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, and if you guys want to see that, you can see it at like the hour 40,
which is
49 minutes.
Another good reason to have it recorded because you can play it and then rewind it and play it. I had to do that a couple of times because there was a talk about aliens and I was like, who said that? I remember that in the meeting, but I actually had to go back and play, and it was like fourth person in, and then somebody else was talking about black cows versus white cows. So, you know, like if me having the opportunity to get whatever I want on my property, and his argument was I should be allowed to put whatever or do whatever to my land that I want. And he said, you know, if I wanted black cows and so wanted white cows or didn't want to look at my black cows, but like white cows. And I'm like, you are clearly missing it, dude, because a white cow versus a black cow is not the same thing as this huge industrial solar array. Totally not the same thing. So, and then they were talking about how they were it was not a long time. How did they word that? It was just for 30 or 40 years. Oh, it was temporary. It was a temporary solar industrial complex. I'm like, temporary? And then they go on to speak about it being only 30 or 40 years. I'm like, that is very not temporary in my opinion. But I guess in the grand scheme of life, that just still seems like a long time to let the land rest.
Yeah. Citizen Broadcaster says Bowser, that's who you're talking about. He's a lease signer.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell.
Yeah. Sharpshooter, who was there and also spoke, said they will only listen if they have to listen to all of us. And I think this is right. And, one of the greatest mistakes, one of the greatest assaults on freedom is when people sit around thinking someone else is going to come save them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give a speech in Tennessee here in just a matter of days. And, I'm going to talk a lot about, at the end of the day, you have to say to yourself that no one's coming to save me. And not only do I got to be okay with that, I got to prefer that. I got to be able to position to prefer that. And until you get to that spot, you're never going to find freedom, because it's radical responsibility. It's radical honesty, about it. And so I think Sharpshooter, great comment. Indiana Mike says your speech will make a great letter to the editor.
Oh, it would. I actually brought his speech up here because I was like, read it. And he was like, no.
No, they can hear it. They can go over to the citizen broadcast. And
I thought you did a good job.
I'm proud. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's see here. This area that we are in has been able to stop a low-income zero lot line and apartment complex inside a 1 or 2 acre lot neighborhood with older homeowners.
Good.
Neil's good. I mean, I think it's important that the people stand up, right? Juby Joe says, I love her thinking. B is awesome. Sharpshooter follows up, but 30 years is enough time to disrupt generational interest in the land. Right. Right. Do I want to come back to the farm and be around all those solar panels? Oh, I don't want to come back. Okay, mom and dad sell the farm.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Rhonda, welcome in.
Yeah.
Right. I think I got some more pictures here. This picture cracked me up.
That's incredibly ridiculous.
This is the sign going into the building, and they were in such a hurry to get them up, they put it upside down.
I think they probably did that intentionally. Come
Why?
on. Who can't figure out up from down? Like, really?
The back of it don't have any words on it, and they just pulled it and
You're
taped
putting
it
it on a see-through window. You can see through the paper.
I'm just telling you, I think they're just in a hurry.
I think they're lazy.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought you guys would find this funny. I absolutely found this funny, so I couldn't help but stop on my way into the building and take a picture for you fine folks.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, more pictures I just want to share with you guys. And if you guys look, man, there are people everywhere.
There are people standing.
It is
everywhere.
Wall to wall.
And so I think there were, from my calculation right now, there were 72 chairs.
Okay.
Because there were 6 chairs across and 2 rows, and then 6 rows back.
Yeah. So think about that.
12.
72 chairs and 208 people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is incredibly ridiculous to have a public meeting with not enough room.
Yeah. But it was interesting. It was a good experience.
They should have opened up the courthouse upstairs.
Or a church or something in the area.
Well, in the same building, there's courthouses upstairs that have pews in them that
Yeah.
people can get in.
Talk about the mics.
Oh, they had the microphones weren't working. They tried 5 different microphones, and it was hot in there. Like, I think they turned the heat up and turned the microphones off so that they didn't have to hopefully deal with us
I don't
too
think
long.
I don't think that's true.
Come on now.
I don't think that's true.
When you go up into the upstairs, it is cool up there. And you could say because there was 200 people on the main level, but I think that if they would have moved us upstairs, we could have at least rallied into the courtroom and had more room. It's cooler up there too. I don't know why they didn't, but the microphones, they had to keep switching microphones over and over again. Yours even cut out when you were doing your speech, so he just talked louder.
I did it on purpose.
Well, you wanted to be heard. I think maybe we should bring a megaphone next time. And that way we could just have a megaphone. That way you could be like, can you hear me now? I think that they're massively
Playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I talked to one of my commissioners this morning about it, and he suggested that we would be moving the meeting to a place that would accommodate more, and that they would work hard on the microphones and apologize to me for it. Because the microphone
We still could get a megaphone.
cut out in the middle of my speech one time, and so I just said, don't worry about it. I just spoke up.
Well, but then before you, there was so much static that you couldn't hear anything that they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was trying to play it back, it didn't sound like static. So when you're playing it back, the noise that you're hearing is static from the microphones being too close to each other or something, or their face being too close to the microphone as they were talking. So I don't know what the microphone problem was, but like 5 microphones don't work yet. What is his name? Jonathan. I was gonna say Wiener, but it's not Wiener.
Weimer.
His microphone didn't stop working. Not the whole time I was there.
Let me get to some comments. What do you think here? Where am I at here? Yeah, Squatchy says speaks volumes. Nitos makes the comment that tag, some people cannot read upside down, could have been a ploy. Helen says deliberately made to fail. Mo, by the way, welcome in, Mo. Mo is a good buddy of mine, says, of course, you got the Trump treatment. Scott says, tag, a bunch of people stood in the hallway for an hour without being able to hear. Many left. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Tim, welcome in, says, evening all, great show you did with Nicole this week. Thank you very much.
I haven't watched that yet. I want to watch that.
Yeah, I haven't had any time. I haven't watched it either. Maybe they did it on purpose like they did to Trump at the UN.
See, I think they probably turned the heat up in the room on purpose because it was hot.
Helen says it was sabotage.
Sabotage.
Yeah. But guys, this is how America works. And I talked to a police officer that was standing there outside because of course they bring security because we're because we're the ones that burn buildings down. But anyway, he came up and I asked him, I said, hey, do you feel like your time's being wasted here? You know, I mean, what are they scared of? Which is something I love to ask police officers in public meetings. But and he said, no, he said, you know what? This isn't a waste of my time. I get to hear it. And that makes me make better decisions. And that lets me give better feedback. So it's not a waste of my time, which when I went in there with kind of a snarky comment, like, what are they afraid of? You know, me being typical me, he had probably the perfect answer that made me feel guilty for making my statement in the beginning, you know, but
what was his answer?
His answer was, no, it's good for me because I get to hear the people's feedback.
Oh.
And because I get to hear the people's feedback, I get to make better decisions and I get to give better feedback. Like he picked the one answer that I really couldn't argue with.
Yeah.
And so,
good for him.
Yeah.
You know, not all cops are bad.
Yeah. Helen says 5 microphones don't work, but it's 2025.
Right. Isn't that ridiculous?
Jen says, guess you need to bring the karaoke machine.
So I need to look into that. So is that just a microphone with a speaker attached to it?
Yeah. Except the speaker's half a refrigerator.
I don't think so. The principal at the school had one that he carried around like a suitcase.
Yeah, our machine that's out of the community building, the speakers are gigantic.
Oh yeah, I don't think she's talking about that.
Oh, so where would we get the speaker, the little speaker?
You just got to go buy one.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll carry it around with our megaphone.
She said you need to bring the karaoke machine. She didn't say go buy one.
She meant
go
buy one and take it with you. Apparently, we're going to need it from here on out.
Is there a light flashing or a filter on that is glitching? B's shirt keeps flashing a light color, maybe on my end. FYI.
Oh, it did just change colors. Look at my shirt change colors.
I don't see it changes colors.
It did just a second ago. Now it's not. Say it again. Who was that? Lever Rabbit. Did you see it?
Nope.
It did change colors. I saw it. There's nothing. We're not doing anything.
Yeah, lever jump says lean forward and then back.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Look, see, now it's blue, now it's green. Why is it doing that?
I don't know. Mo says the answer is because B is AI. We're not real.
Rowdy doesn't have a wife.
Yep. Let's see here. Yeah, people are saying they do see the color change.
That's crazy.
Yep. So we got through the meeting and everybody got spoke. Again, bunch of people. It was really cool. We keep doing that. It really is a great ambiance for everybody. and
do you have any idea why it's doing that?
Babe, I don't know. It's wanting you to dance around.
Just my shirt.
Just
you
keep
do
doing it. Just keep doing it.
You go forward and backwards. There you go. Do that some more.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Helen says, have the officials come to a meeting on your choice of place? They are working and being paid by the citizens, right? It can be made into a happy environment and welcoming. This is a wonderful point, and these are conversations that are ongoing. We have not set up a true town hall meeting where we get to control the narrative, but there are discussions, and we are thinking about it. I have a meeting coming up here where we're going to discuss some of those things. But if we could get a building, man, you're all over the color-wise. You might really be AI.
I'm glitching.
I'm
glitching.
living in the Truman Show. I'm Truman.
I think we are.
No, you're the one glitching. I'm Truman.
Come on now.
Oh,
Come on now.
Yeah, love runs around and says, now you can stop. You guys.
No, he said, now she can't stop.
Oh.
Come on now. Don't be mean to me. You can stop.
You know what's funny about that is that 50% of the time when I do that, you don't catch it. You just go along with it.
Why would you lie to me?
Yeah, Citizen Broadcaster says town hall meetings. Yeah, I think we need, there should be some conversation about that. So anyway, we get done with the meeting, and I think it was a huge success. I spoke to one of our commissioners. Only one showed up. Everything else was the planning board. That commissioner said, I think I've heard all I need to hear, to me. And I think that's a good statement.
See, I thought it was not a good statement.
I took it.
I've heard all I need to hear.
Yeah, I took it as a good statement, as, okay, we got work to do, kind of statement. So we'll see. And I could be totally wrong, and that's fine. I don't mind being wrong. I am that way all the time. But Lazy Loper says, to your defense, I think we're all living in the Truman Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cue the lights.
Yeah.
The stars.
Speaking of stars, I get done and I get pulled aside, and the local news wants to do an interview with me. So I stand out in the hallway of the county courthouse and I do an interview. I have not seen what they've done with it, but doesn't matter, whatever.
Do you know who did the interview?
KSNT.
Okay.
No, I haven't even looked, to be honest with you, but they did, and I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know, I don't know if they'll use it or they won't. Who knows? Whatever.
She was there the whole time then.
Yeah.
The other people.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that there was two news stations there.
They showed up late and left early.
Yeah.
I think it was their microphone that kept. Yeah. No, because after they left, the microphones still were an issue. Yeah. I thought it was their microphone that was making the main microphone like cut out, but after they left, it was still doing it. So
yeah. Yep, super cool. So anyway, I'm glad we did it, and we got to go again on Thursday. My week is going to be insane. This week, I've got to decide tomorrow, which is the only day I can do it. Do I drive out to the Midwest Preparedness Project, or do I go to the local auction? Problem is that I missed the last one, and the next one I'll be in Tennessee, and I've got some needs. So I got to figure out that. I've got a speech to write, because then on Thursday, we got another meeting with the planning board, and everyone gets to speak again on Thursday. Oh, yeah. On Tuesday, I have a solar meeting. On Wednesday, I have Billy Bond's podcast to do.
Oh, that'll be fun.
But in all of that, I got to be a husband. And in all of that, I got to handle the homestead. And in all of that, I actually got to go to work. I mean, so. Yeah. And then next week on Friday, really cool news for you guys. And you guys, I hope, really love this video. And I hope I do a good job. But one of the county commissioners has agreed to do an interview with me. So Friday morning, a week from now, that morning, I will drive to the courthouse. I will set up my equipment. I will do an interview. We're going to talk about solar and the regulations and all of those things. And I'm going to ask the questions nobody will answer, because we've asked them a whole bunch of times and we're not getting it anywhere. And so I'm going to go there that morning. And as soon as I'm done with that, I have to drive home, give my best friend and my beautiful bride a kiss. And then I have to get in the car and head to Tennessee, because I'll be speaking in Tennessee. So yeah, it's going to be a zoo, right? It was pretty cool. A couple other things going on. Let's see, locally, our local school, which I'm always super proud of, did fly the flag at half mast for Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
Right. Which I don't know if they all did or not, but ours did, which is something that I was super proud of. Let's see. Hold on, Helen, it's got something here. I would love to hear the officials' opinion and comments on the greater good. They are just as human as us all, and they most likely agree, but maybe being told not to agree. Yeah, I'm going to find out a lot, because I'm going to, again, I have a lot of my questions already put out, but I'm going to ask some very specific questions, and you're going to, the answer
to the commissioner.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to ask questions, and the answers, I think, because they will be so direct, I think the answers are going to be revealing, and we'll see. But you guys tell me. I'll film it. I'll post it. And then the next time we're on a live, we can have a conversation about it. But I will tell you all, it won't be next Friday. I will have no live next Friday, because I will be driving, heading to Tennessee. So you don't get to have no tag and B next week. Yeah. Just so you guys know.
B will have a house full of people.
B will have a house full of people. Maybe you guys can all do the live.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back before the meeting. So B and I were graciously offered a chance to go and see some of our friends down in the beautiful state of Arkansas. And so we drove down to Life with Mike and Jen's house. And this is a brand new house. It's a beautiful house.
Isn't that a beautiful house there?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I just think the view is amazing from there. But so we got to go down, and we went down under the guise that we were going to do some work, working on a rock wall, but Mother Nature had other intentions. And so it rained pretty much the whole time we were there.
It was like, Tori. Yeah. Mike said, did you get woken up by that wind? And I was like, no. And he goes, we had like tornado like winds. And I'm like, oh, no.
You should have just looked him right in the eye and said, I live in Kansas.
Yeah. No, it was raining pretty hard.
Yeah, I like when Mike said, I don't know even what led to it, and something probably made a comment like, so what are we going to do, or be whatever. What did he say to you about God has other plans?
Yeah, well, I stepped outside there was a saw sitting out there, and I was like, oh no, I don't want that to get wet. And so I stepped outside, and I'm like, oh, you're already up and out here. And so he goes, oh, good morning. And I said, so what are we going to work on? We need to get the gloves out. It's a little wet. What are we going to do? And he goes, well, God has other plans for us. And I was like, okay. What?
Oh, there you go. Lindsay says that her husband said the color change is likely due to an auto white balance being turned on.
Well, I think it's because these two lights are off.
Oh.
Do you know why those two lights are off?
I unplugged them.
Why?
Because I didn't like the glare that it was creating. And so I got up there to those can lights, pulled the can light down, unplugged them, put the can light back in.
Well, that's silly. That's silly.
Yeah.
I just noticed that the lights in behind us. So we only have 2 bulbs lit up right now.
Yep.
Which is probably why like our faces are like orange and then brown and then orange and then brown.
Lindsay, tell Mr. Freeze that thank you for being smart. Jen says it was a lot wet.
It was a lot wet.
Hey, we'll be cool. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Well, and then that next storm, with the water coming out of the wall, I was like, oh no.
It was
That's not good. But
we had a good time.
That's what they're stackable like that one for a reason.
Yeah, we got to have dinner one of the nights we were there.
Oh, this is CH.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
That's the name of the hotel.
Oh.
We got to have dinner at a super old hotel that was once an insane asylum, and they claimed that it was haunted. We had a pizza. It was really good, actually. At least my pizza was really good. Was your pizza good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
So it was really, really good. And I got a picture of it in here for you guys. Oh,
of the pizza?
No, of the hotel.
Oh.
So this is what I got to stare at from my table that we were eating at. You know, that statue of Jesus down in like Argentina, that it's kind of like
this is the Jesus of the Ozarks.
Of the Ozarks, yeah. So I zoomed in on it because it was a little ways away, but it was pretty cool.
And it lights up at nighttime.
That was the hotel, and we were up there on the 3rd floor, in one of those balconies, eating. But it was really cool. I thought I would be smart.
No, weren't we on the top? We were up here.
It was the 4th floor.
Yeah, we were in the top.
4th floor.
We didn't have white pillars. We didn't have those white pillars.
Okay.
We had the black rail.
Okay. Okay, Mario says, oh my goodness. Tell him about the ghost app. Okay, so
oh yeah,
you guys know
my husband's a child.
Yeah.
I'm married to a man child.
So in the past, you guys probably remember this from Alive. We had actually Mike and Jen were down. We had some other people. Jeff and Louise was in the house, and there was I think American Roots was there probably too. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they hadn't been in Kansas, and so we were in a storm that had potential tornadoes. So I snuck away and downloaded the tornado siren app on my phone. And then I went back in the room and just sat there for a second and then hit the app. And everyone looking around like, what the hell do we do?
It's a tornado.
I think Lou said, is this really it? Or something like that. So anyway, we went to this restaurant and I decided that I would download a ghost app.
Yeah. Spooky noises on his phone while people are trying to look for ghosts.
Yeah. And so I put it in my pocket and
scared
and tried.
Two young girls.
Yeah. That was the only really good one I got. No one else really bought it. Most people just smiled at me, but there was these two young girls that were walking stairs down behind me, and I hit it and they stopped, turned around and went the other way. And I don't think anybody else found it funny but me, but I have actually found it incredibly funny. just so you guys know. Let me see here. Jen says Christ of the Ozarks from Crest Hotel. Yep. Packrat says, who you gonna call? Yep, Ghostbusters. Pockety says, I've eaten at that restaurant. The pipe band was up there for a parade. Oh, cool. And appropriately, Love Runs Rampant says juvenile. Yeah. I don't know why I find that stuff funny.
Yeah.
I just do. I have all kinds of silly apps that I've downloaded, you know. Mario said, we had some paranormal activity on our phones while trying to video. True story. Yeah, this is true. And I don't know, you know, what causes those kinds of things, but there was a couple places in the hotel we were having a hard time getting the phone to be clear.
He was right there on the lawn and he was trying to take a picture, and the phone, I could see his phone, and he was like, say cheese for the camera. And he was trying to take a picture of his wife, and the camera was hit on his phone. It was like going in and out. The picture was, and he was like, wait, what's going on? And he was trying to like focus on her. And he was like, well, my phone's not doing. And I was like, what is going on with your phone? That's weird. And that did that twice and then another time inside, he was trying to take a picture and it was doing the same thing. And at first, so there was like a white, or it was the window, and his wife was walking towards the window, and he was trying to take a picture of her from the backside walking towards the window. And it was like, I don't know if it was whitewashed, I guess. So it was like the light coming from the window and then her walking towards it. It was glitching, and it was weird. I've never seen a phone do that. So I was like, yeah, that's odd. Lazy
Loper says that I was hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you see that? But you got to understand, Lazy Loper and me were tight. We're like buds that way. Yeah. Else haters. Nito says, B, I feel you. My hubby does things like that. I would like to welcome in Nurse Wayne. What's going on? Love Road Ram says another kind of spiritual battle. There are plenty of them, aren't there? While we were there, they had this wonderful store called the Rowdy Beaver.
Yeah.
And Mike, who was driving, stops his car in traffic, and wings to the side of the road, and yells, "Get out! Go see if you can get a T-shirt."
Yes, that's what we did.
So we did, but they didn't have any T-shirts.
Yes, we obeyed.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it worked. Mike barked, and Tag and me ran looking for a Rowdy Beaver T-shirt. Sure. Seriously, that really happened. And I only took the picture because if you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. But it actually really did happen. Yeah. You agree?
Yes.
Okay. One cool thing I wanted to show you guys is this is a picture that I took close to their house. These are Airbnbs. And I really liked the design. And for those of you guys who are thinking about building Airbnbs, this is a really smart design because there's no seams in the roof. It's all one direction. These are simple to build.
They don't have fireplaces in there, I bet.
I don't see any fireplaces, but it would be easy to do. You know?
But no, what you're looking at is no leaks in the roof. Is that
well, no, not just that, but it's also just a square. It'd be cheap to build. The rafters would be super easy to put in. You know, there's no peaks, there's no valleys.
The water runoff.
The water runoff. Yeah, you can face it in the direction, which is
towards the sun.
You'd want it towards the sun, you know, and those kind of things. But I really like these designs. And so I'll keep it in mind as I go forward in my, my journey.
In your Airbnb journey.
But we had a absolute time. I want to tell you one other funny story about the trip because I thought it was hilarious because, we talk about Mike and how Mike decides he wants to stop and yell and get us out and, go chasing the Rowdy Beaver. And he also takes us to this haunted, hotel and all of that. And so one of the other adventures that we got to do is we got to go down the road and go see the river and go play in the river. And so we jumped in his UTV, Jen and Mike and B and I, and we're headed down the road. And Mike says, "You really want to have some fun?" And he knocks the windshield down right in the front of the UTV, and he's hauling ass. And for those of you guys who know Mike's an adrenaline junkie. So fast that's Mike, Yeah, Mike, you don't do anything slow. And so he pushes the window down, and Karma jumps up and blows his hat off, driving down the road, and his glasses off, and land them in a mud puddle. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a mud puddle. And so
we had to stop.
Yeah, we had to stop.
Get his hat, his glasses.
Yep.
He flicked it and put it back on. I was like, gross. Gross, dude. Yeah. And it was raining. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. When we were down, I took this picture, and I just thought it was a cool picture. We were down at the lake. We found this thing squirming, and it was
Yeah, he's like,
to the right.
come on, look at this. I'm like, that would be a parasite of some kind.
And what was it?
Horsehair worm.
Yeah, it was a horsehair worm. So that's what it was. I'd never seen one.
It was like 9 inches long.
Yeah.
It was gross. I fished it out of there.
So was that more gross or Mike putting his hat back on?
The worm is definitely grosser. I would rather put a muddy hat on my head than touch that. Yeah. Although there probably was something in that hat now too.
Yeah. But it was a good time, and it was a good break for us too. We don't get out much, and I get out to do speaking and stuff like that. Bea does not leave the farm very often, and she's here a lot. But I think it was good for us. We had a good time, and we got to hang out with friends, and that's always nice. Packrat said that's wild harvest spaghetti.
Gross. I'd rather eat like spaghetti squash if I didn't have like real noodles.
Yeah. Jimmy Joe says, "Oh shite."
Yeah, it was gross.
Mario says, "A little dirt don't hurt."
I fished it out of there and killed it so that I didn't have to think about like it going into a fish or something, and then and then somebody getting that and eating it and then dying from it. Ugh.
I like the wild harvest spaghetti.
I will feed you some then.
Yeah.
Next time I find one, I'll go looking.
Jen says, hard pass on that spaghetti.
Yeah.
Squadgy says, adrenaline. Yeah. And Skane's girl says, you can wash dirt off. Skanes, I don't know if I said hello tonight. If I didn't, hello. And if I did, you get it twice. Okay. What else going on? I over the last, because we haven't done the regular live in a couple, right? Because we did 2 with other couples, the last 2 in a row, which, by the way, I really like that format of having conversation with other homesteading couples. And if there's somebody out there who wants to do it, let me know. And I'd love to be, set it up. But over the last couple of weeks, I have gotten a few hours in the shop. So I thought I would share some of that with you. But first, Mario says, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for coming out to spend time with us. Sorry, I couldn't work you harder. Yeah, that's okay. We had fun. Yeah. So I want to share some pictures with you guys. The first picture, which is of me, I'm not very happy.
Not very happy.
Yeah. So
he's not being very productive.
No, I'm being super productive. So I had to drill a 1 1/4 inch hole through 14 inches of concrete.
Okay. Doesn't sound like hard.
Yeah. And no, that part's fine. And I have a tool that does it, and that's all that stuff's fine. But I drilled it down in there, and then my bit, so a 1 1/4 inch bit that will drill through 14 inches of concrete, right? Ooh,
I'm over here.
This way. I mean, that's a big drill bit. That's an $80 drill bit. And I got it. I was drilling down in there, and it just grabbed tight. And I couldn't back it out. And so I took the hammer drill off of it. I tried to use a pair of vice grips to kind of move it. But the problem is you can't pull it straight out. It's got to come out spinning. Somehow,
back it out.
Somehow it must have got caught on a piece of rebar. I don't know what's down in there, but I never did get it out. So I had to donate that drill bit to the wall, and it will be there forever. But the real problem was that sucks. But then because I did that, I had to start all over again.
Yeah, you have to start with a new hole.
A brand new hole and a new drill bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you guys stock for your long-term storage needs a 1 1/4 inch, hammer drill bit that's 36 inches long, but that's not something I typically store a lot of. So
I don't know why not.
Yeah. That's permission. You guys seen it. Right there. So anyway, I ended up getting it drilled. I ended up doing it. Now what I was going to do is I was going to stuff a water line up in there so that if I ever decided to add rainwater to my shop, that I'd have a water inlet. And then I could finish up that wall, which I did.
That was the goal, was to finish the wall so that he could be in there in the wintertime.
Yep. The picture all the way to the right is the room that I'm in, which will be the bathroom in my wood shop. Eventually, again, why I wanted the water line in there. So I had to build some doors and stuff. So that was cool.
Wasn't there a door there already?
There was, but it was sometimes it does not serve you good to go buy a used door and go through all of that. It was all warped, and it was a pain in the ass. I just took it down, made my own. And then the middle picture, that'll be what I need to work on next. That's one of my tool rooms that has all my hand tools in it.
It looks like a mess.
And it's a mess. So I'll be working on that at the rate I'm going sometime in 2037. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Where am I at? Juby Joe says, "Oh, what B puts up with." Yes, she just tells him he is a little engine who could. Mario says, "Come on, Tag, keep one of those in the kitchen drawer." Right. Exactly.
Oh, Jen says you didn't have the correct pliers.
Oh, Jen says I did not have the correct
to get
pliers.
that out of there.
Yep.
I bet if you used those pliers, you probably could have backed it out on your own.
Tag, this is Skane's first Friday Night Live as a Kansan. Well, congratulations. So Skane's girl, because obviously they said it, so I don't have to worry about violating anything, has moved to Kansas, and she has joined the community, and this will be her first Friday Night Live. Welcome and congratulations. Yep, Packrat says, time to bring home that bucket of concrete bits from the auction. I have an auction tomorrow if I go. I'm trying to decide what to do. I've never missed a Midwest Produce Project. I've been to every single one of them. In fact, I'm the only person to be at every single one of them. But I just don't know if I can do it this year. So we'll just have to see. Right?
Yep.
You agree?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, you want to talk about what
As you wish.
You want to talk about what you've been doing? Since we're already at an hour?
I've done nothing.
What'd you do with that?
Oh, yeah, I did do that. I canned apples.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were gifted to you?
Yes.
Right?
Yep. They were gifted to us. And I took them, and what we did not eat, I canned and made apple pie filling.
Mm-hmm.
And then the elderberries.
She's dehydrating them.
Well, they're done now.
Yeah.
I dehydrated them for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I turned them off at nighttime. And then I ran them all day long, and then I turned them off at nighttime. So 3 days, and then I put them in a mason jar.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got elderberries dehydrated for later use, and apple pie filling for later use also. Yes, this was just this yesterday or something. Shoot, yeah. Time flies by so fast right now. And one of these, I think it was the one in the middle, is like gray. Mm. It was like
this is our direct backyard.
Oh yeah, this is right out our back door.
Right out our back door. This picture's taken standing in our back door. And you got to love that, right? B was concerned that when we put the fences up, because we fenced our whole property.
Fences.
And that the animals wouldn't come around anymore. And I tried to tell her, no, it'll become a haven for them. They'll learn they're safe here.
Yeah, they jumped the fence.
Yep.
And I did not think that they would, because the dogs are on the inside of the fence.
But the dogs don't really bother.
And you can't see in this picture, but there are chickens and turkeys and rabbits in this yard. And I thought that's so crazy that they're all so used to each other that they're okay being in the same yard.
Yeah.
I did not think that would ever happen, because these are wild animals. Well, so is the rabbit, but
yeah. So apparently we have deer for pets as well.
Well, they won't let us touch them.
Yeah.
The last time I tried, there was one at the back deck, and there was a mom and a baby, and you could tell one was significantly smaller than the other. And I was like, "Oh, come here," and I had my hand out, and the mom snorted at me, and I was like, "Ooh." Never mind. I'm going inside, because I don't know what it will do to me, but I don't want to know either. If it's not gonna be pleasant,
but babe, for you to get close enough to a deer that it would snort at you,
it snorted.
What I'm saying is, how beautiful is that you've created a place where they feel safe enough for that.
That they snorted?
Yes. That they're
what
they're
else
that
would
close.
they? You mean instead of just running?
Yeah, instead of seeing you and just scurrying.
Yeah, no, they didn't run away, but they were just like, she was like, "Don't you dare," is what she said. And I was like, "Okay, never mind. I won't."
Yeah, Jen for the win says food on the hoof is a huge blessing. Yeah, we're going to continue to grow them too, and I'm going to continue to encourage them to be here. And it's funny, our guardian dogs don't even bother them.
No,
they're like part of the flock.
Weird.
They're smart, babe. They know they are no threat.
And today I went to do chores, and the goats got out of their paddock, and they were running around the yard, and the dog was just right on its tail, licking its butt. And I'm going, "Oh my gosh, seriously, this is you guys are not following the rules. This is not how this is supposed to be."
Juby Joe says, "I fight coyotes. I think they know me." Lindsay, this is super interesting. Says SIU campus would have to close trails because students would get attacked by deer.
Oh. They get attacked. What do? Bite them? They paw at them?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Thanks, Lindsay. Now I gotta listen to the deer are going to attack
The
me.
deer are gonna. I'm afraid. No, because if I would have ran out there screaming, it would have probably have ran away.
Yeah, Jen says the girls are supposed to guard the food and chase off the predators. Well, they absolutely do that.
Would deer bother the goats or the
No.
they don't bother the chickens or the turkeys or rabbits?
They eat grass. They're not meat eaters.
Well, so are the
deer. If provoked,
goats
will fight. They kick from the front legs and can really hurt a person. Does not as much as bucks, but it happens. Does not as much as bucks, but it happens. Juba Joseph, my dog won't back down, and I have to get involved. And Love Runs Rampant warns, a deer will mess you up seriously. Yeah, that was really, really beautiful, and I love seeing stuff like that, and I hope we can continue to build this environment that is full of life like that,
where they feel safe.
Yeah. Now I will tell you guys though, I'm not afraid to take a life, and if we need to eat, I have no problem doing it. But until such time, I'm going to grow it, and I'm just going to leave them be and let them do their thing. I think it's absolutely cool.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. All right, baby. How about this?
They're not eating our stuff.
What do you got going on?
Those are the goji berries. And I was weeding and found them.
Yeah. What are you going to do with them? You know what I think you should do, because you don't have very many goji berries? I think you should take all of them and prepare them to plant.
Right now, they're just dehydrating. So
yeah. I would just prepare them to plant.
There's more. There's just as many on the bush again now.
Yeah. So. Mo says a deer will mess a car up. Ask him how he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mo's had some experience in this.
You hit a deer.
Real quick, what else? So guys, I got the new cab right there set on my truck that we've been working on forever.
That looks like a mess.
It is. Well, it's in my buddy.
There's the engine.
It's in my buddy's shop. So, and it's a mechanic shop. So he's got stuff laying everywhere. But what's important, like you can see the firewall all painted. Right. If you look in this, the dash got painted. Right. So we're getting closer. And this is the new cab. The old cab that was full of rust in it, we took all off.
So was the paint on the old one? What that he just painted? The new paint?
No,
the previous picture.
No, these are all after they put the new cab on. This is the new cab.
Okay.
That's on it, and that motor's an LQ9 6-liter. So that's like a super cool engine and lots of power, about a 500 horsepower engine. And for me, that's more than plenty. And
so he just painted the firewall and the dash.
No, he painted the firewall. He painted the dash. Or they're working on jamming, but see, like the sides here are all painted. The whole bottom's done. So underneath the cab's all complete. We had to,
Did you flip it over and paint it and then put it back on?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm super excited about getting it done someday.
It'll painted it root beer brown.
Root beer brown. Yep.
It is a pretty brown.
Yeah.
I like it.
Had to dig myself a hole because
we're not burying anybody.
No, we're not burying anybody. At least not yet. So I'm trying to work towards getting the septic in for the community building. And so in order to do that, where I live, they have to come out and do a soil sample. And so she asked for a 4-foot deep hole. So I dug her a 4 feet deep hole, and then she climbed down in there and did some soil sampling and some stuff like that. And
you learned about dirt.
Learned about dirt. And then she came a day later and told me what we have to do to accomplish said goal. And so we're ready to go on that. Now I'm just trying to fund it, as always. That's always the issue. And it was funny, I had all the money to do it, and we were just waiting on the test, and then my solar system had its issue. So I bought a whole new solar system, and so now we're
waiting for funding.
Just collecting spare money until we can get to it, because it can't be my priority. And I've got a whole farm to run and animals that need fed. And
I think it's crazy that you dig this hole and it's not where the septic tank is going. You would think that they would have you dig the hole where you want to put the septic tank so that they could figure out what the dirt is there.
Okay, no. The septic tank does not leach water. They want,
and this right here is going to leach water. You're going to have something here.
They want you to dig the hole where the septic lines would be, where the leach field will be, and the leach field will run right through here. So I dug it exactly where I was supposed to dig it.
I thought the leach field was farther out than the tank.
Yeah, there goes the tank, and then there'll be a T in a leach field, and then another T in a leach field, right?
Yeah, this is right up next to the building, though.
Yeah, that's where I'm putting the septic system. It's right up next to the building, so that I keep people from driving on it. Yeah. We don't do, Hippocrates says leach field perk test here. We don't do perk test here. We do soil sampling. But
which is so crazy because she had like a book that she was like putting the dirt on to see like what
color it was. Yeah. Deer snort at me and my cats all the time. Had a 6 to 8 point buck in the yard 2 days ago. That's awesome, Stan.
Dang.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Guys, I'll be at the Self-Reliance Festival October 4th and 5th. I hope to see some of you guys there. I'm going to have a talk about freedom, how to exit the system and how it's lying to us. I'm mainly going to focus on the mental aspect of it because I think it's probably the biggest part. And so we'll be doing that, but you can also come down and you can meet, Brooke Whipple from the show Alone, or Dr. Ken Berry, or many of the other awesome speakers. So I hope we get to see some of you guys there. After that, we will have our fall festival on Saturday, October the 18th at our community building. And we're just going to hang out and have a good time and enjoy each other and eat and see who we can make fun of and what trouble we can cause. And it ought to be a good time, right?
Yep.
As soon as that's
doing hay rack rides and all kinds of activities. Oh, pumpkin toss.
Yep. From there, November 15th and 16th, I'm going to Crunchy Mama Farms, as I tell you guys every live, whatever is going on, to speak with Sean and Amy down there, and just outside of Dallas, Texas. So if anybody can make it there, go to Crunchy Mama Farms, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Alvord, Texas, again, which is just outside of Dallas. Okay. I think we got through all the farm slides, which means we're going to have some time for some good news. You excited?
Yes, I'm excited.
What else would you have on your list since I completely skipped you today?
The only other thing I had on there was that when we were gone, we had Jeff and Louise were helping with the animals, and Jeff sent me a picture and was like, "You got new babies," and I was like, "Wait, where? Who?" And he sent me a picture. And there was a turkey mom with new turkey babies. And I thought, well, is that the turkey from over at the community building? And he goes, I don't know. And so when I got home, I went and ran over to the community building and saw that turkey is still on her eggs. And she has been on those eggs for over a month. So I'm going to have to help her out. But this turkey, I don't know where she was, but she came home with, 3 silver birds or slate and 3 Narragansett looking and a black one. So we've got 7 new turkey babies that we did not know about. We grow birds in the spring to have plenty of time for them to have feathers and know what's going on, where their home is by the time we get a winter. This girl did not follow the rules and decided that she was going to have fall babies. And she's actually a pretty good mom. This morning when I came out to do chores, one of the slate looking birds was on her back, and I thought she was dead. So I picked her up and I was going to carry her over away from the mom, who was squawking a lot, which is what drew my attention over there. And my dog came up and snagged that bird out of my hand. And I was like, get over here. And I took the bird back, and it was alive, but it was on its back. It was like on its last leg. It was not going to make it. So I carried her into the greenhouse where it was significantly warmer and dry because she was out in the yard. And I put her in my Haas harvesting bucket with a washcloth, and I put a little lid of water in there, and she just laid there. Then I came inside, I did a couple of dishes, and I heard some chirping, and I went out there, and she was standing up, but she was like twitching, which I was like, oh, in my brain was thinking, okay, neuromuscular problems. The dog bit her, so that would make sense if, she had some kind of injury now. And so I just, so she was not, you could tell there was something still not right. So I moved the bedding around a little bit differently, and I put her back in there and went back into the house. And then about an hour and a half later, I just heard consistent chirping consistently. And I was like, oh, that's different. So I went back out into the greenhouse, and she was trying to jump out of the harvesting bucket. And so I thought, okay, well, if you're jumping, you're clearly okay to go back outside. And so I carried her out there, and I was releasing her. I just put her down onto the road, and the mom was still making all kinds of noise. And I put her on the road, and she walked all over to where the mom was. And just at that time, Jeff was coming in the gate, and he was going to use the skid loader. He said, do you think I need to put gas in this thing? Who drove it last? And I was like, I have no idea who parked it there. I don't know.
It's never gas. It's
I know.
diesel.
Or diesel. He said, do you think I should put some fuel in this thing? And I'm like, I have no idea, because his fuel gauge doesn't work. And so I said, I could tell you that Tag has not driven it all week. I could tell you that. And he goes, I should probably put some fuel in it. And I was like, I couldn't hurt. So yeah, he put fuel in it, and I was off going to do your ironing. So I had an injured bird. Well, first it was a surprise new birds, and then
Birds. She had 7, right?
Yeah. And then I did find the nest behind one of the calf huts.
Yeah.
The grass was taller than me, so I had to push the grass over and like stomp on it. And then I got around the calf hut, and she had a nest back there, and there was another egg that had not been hatched. But by that time, I don't know when they were hatched. So if she hadn't been on it, most of the time they don't go back to it.
Yeah.
And so I took that egg, and I cracked it open to make sure that it wasn't vile. But there was a bird in there. It just wasn't alive. So
hey, real quick, we have the famous Mandy from Permatopia Farms in the house. How you doing, Mandy?
community plant sale.
Jimmy Joe says, ask me a question, I'll take you around the world and back.
Yep.
I live in that.
Yes.
I live right there. All right, should we get some good news?
Sure.
Guys, I don't completely understand what's going on in the world today, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm becoming more and more convinced it's all the same thing. And I don't even know really what to do with it, but there's just so many things going on that are pointing, in my opinion, to, there's something big on the horizon, or there's trouble coming. There's something going on, because there's so many things that absolutely make no sense to me. And so, I'll give you some examples. So you guys know that there's a shutdown coming from our government, right? And, the Republicans want to pass what they call a clean bill. It's just simple. It's they say that it's just an extension, leaves out funding for a lot of other things, but the Democrats.
I did not know. Yeah. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah. So the Democrats are saying, no, we're not going to take that. We want money for the immigrants. We want money for this and for that. And if you don't give it to us, we're going to shut the government down. And then Trump said, I'm done talking to you. Conversation is over. Shut it down. And I'll quote him in his statement. He said, if the U.S. government has to be shut down, it'll be shut down. Let's get this thing going, and kind of called their bluff. I'll be interested to see why that is. So the reason this isn't that big of news, because we've gone through this a million times, but I think it's fascinating because there's a lot of other things going on at the exact same time. For example, billionaire Soros ally Howard Rubin and his assistant Jennifer Powers were arrested today for commercial sex trafficking. And so this happened today, and which I think is big. Also, did you see that the Knight Templars did a big march back to the Vatican? And there's a video out there. I don't know if you know much about history and, the things that are going on with the immigrants. And there's this big symbolistic thing of the Knight Templars going back in there. In addition, in the Oval Office, Pam Bondi was asked about whether the Department of Justice was targeting the Soros-funded groups, in which she responded with the standard no comment, but added everything is on the table. So they're clearly going to continue to go after people. Concerned Citizen went on to say that enforce surveillance, censorship, get rid of freedom of speech, and what we're undergoing is a soft coup. And it really got me thinking about, it would make a lot of sense if there really is a fight for who's in control of our government. That's what I mean by a soft coup, right? A coup attempt from behind the scenes that could be actively going on. And I think there's other things that support this. U.S. Secretary of War has called for a meeting of all U.S. generals. So Pete Hegseth told all brigadier generals and above that they should report to Quantico, Virginia. And I have never heard of this happening. I was in the military. I have a lot of vet friends, but never in my entire life have I heard them calling every general. You guys have to put this into context. There's generals who are over in areas of conflict, Afghanistan and Iraq, right? Those generals are all over the globe, and they were all called, all of them, to one meeting. Why would you call all your generals, to one meeting? General Flynn, they're saying, is now, it's leaked, and I don't know if this is true or not, but General Flynn is going to be named as Supreme Allied Commander for NATO. Rumor has it. This would be a gigantic thing. This question was asked of Pete Hegseth, and he didn't deny it or confirm it. He just said, "We will see." So this is absolutely crazy, in my opinion. This absolutely points towards, something else. See here, Trump is informed also that Islamic, and this is Trump speaking, okay? Trump says that Islamists and terrorists are planning multiple attacks across the United States, and it's already ongoing, and they're trying to stop it. So you got all the generals coming back to our country. Part of me thinks they're coming back because they're going to give them a speech like, look, you got to pick a side. You're going to be on the Democrat side, you're going to be on the Republican side, or are you going to be on the whatever the dividing line that they happen to create. But something big I absolutely see to be coming around the corner.
And they'd have to bring them home to do that?
Well, they wanted to meet in person. Mm-hmm. You could have video conferenced it. I do it all the time. How many meetings do I have right here from my office?
But it could be tapped into. Not if they're in one of those rooms.
Yeah, they can make it pretty secure. I mean, nothing's totally secure, but you got to remember, just this year, Pete Hegseth said that he couldn't believe that the Department of Justice was outsourcing all of their cloud services to China. So our Department of Defense, for years during the Biden administration and before, were outsourcing our cloud services to the Chinese people. So there's something weird going on here, I think, in my opinion. Let's see here. Tim says, I saw a clip I saw said it was 800 plus generals war maybe on the horizon. Mandy says, totally agree, Keg. So many things going on. Hard to believe what's real. Boy, 100%. Then is it just AI, right? There has to be some rule about not having all the generals in the same room at once. You would think that would be true, right? Let's see here. Lover and Rabbit also says, seems sketch to me. Yep. Mandy says, B, I like your shirt. What do you got on there?
Mechanic shirt.
I eat local because I can.
Because I can.
Yeah. Let's keep it trucking here. Overseas, a lot's going on too. And I know you guys have heard in the previous lives and those things about the
shirt is doing that.
Yeah, you're just flashing in and out. You're not real. B's AI.
I don't feel AI.
You are. You're AI. In previous weeks, you had seen how Russian drones and planes and stuff have begun encroaching into NATO territory. They did it in Poland, several other countries. And then this week, there was over 500 drone sightings reported in Denmark, up there in Scandinavia. And Denmark publicly said, I seen this on Fox News, there's many reports of it, that they are considering triggering NATO's Article 4. And Article 4 is the meeting to set up Article 5. And if they talk about Article 5, if they do that, what that means is that all NATO countries are expected to respond. And so if they do that, that right there is the beginning of the conventional World War III, although I will argue the unconventional World War III has been going on probably since 2016.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. 2020 for sure, and I think this stuff's all tied to COVID. I think it's tied to the whole thing. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, I want to be super clear. I do not think there's an Oz behind the curtain. I think that's kind of a silly theory. But what I do think is that corruption and greed and power has been bred into our system in a systematic way. It's many people in many places. And I'm going to tell you something else. Wars are not determined by generals. Wars are determined in boardrooms. Wars are determined by Microsoft. Wars are determined by, JP Morgan. Wars are determined by those kinds of things. And it's, I'm not real excited about what I'm seeing. There's a lot of really bad signals. Instigator says, how many generals went in and how many were still generals on their way out? We'll never know, I'll bet you. Yeah, Juby Joe says, keeping my mouth shut for now. I wouldn't. I'm old school. AI will always involve an arm length glove to me. I agree with that. Mo says, the major meeting is similar to what happened in the Patriot, Wesley Rawls, when the collapse happened. You know what's crazy about that? You say the Patriot, my brain instantly.
Oh, I went to the movie.
I did too, but it's interesting. It's ironic for that too, because in that movie, they all came together in the beginning to decide whether or not to go to war. Mm-hmm. So I think either both examples was a decent one. Let's see. Also, as you guys probably heard, they have formally indicted Comey. Right. This is really the first of the big ones, and I think the real question is who will fall after him? Will there be others? And he went on to give a big video speech about how, he will not live on his knees and that we shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right, but I'm not afraid. And I hope you're not either, this big thing. But they've arrested Comey. It was ironic because General Flynn, who they're saying now is going to be the Allied commander, which again, I can't prove, but just rumors, but originally was talking about, hey, we're coming for you, Comey. And it's interesting when they say words like we. Right, here's a guy who's not even nothing to do with the government anymore, but still says we. So I guarantee you there's a lot there that, we clearly don't know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and don't understand. Putin then went on to vow to destroy bloodthirsty Israel's satanic grip on Washington. I think this is absolutely fascinating, too, because it seems like there's been a big change going on in the world, and it seems like lines are being drawn, and they're not the traditional lines. Trump went on to say that it looks like we've lost India and Russia to the deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. I think it is absolutely crazy for the president of the United States to get on and say we've lost India and Russia to China. I don't know.
China.
I don't know if this is. I just don't understand all the games that are being played here. I mean, if I'm going to tell you, if Russia, China, and India got together, we would be in big old trouble. I mean, that's not only the military might of the world; that's the economic might of the world, right? That's a big old deal, and it's hard to tell what's true anymore, because I'll tell you guys, every one of these pictures that I show you, I cannot guarantee you any of them are true.
Right.
I can't. So many things are just being made up. I seen a post today from Tylenol that said, you're looking at the wrong thing, release the Epstein files. But I can't prove Tylenol did that.
Yeah.
It looked like a Tylenol account, but what would I know, right? Let's see here. What's Jen saying? Jen says, Patsy, take a couple, but a real criminal's calling the shots will never be held accountable. Yeah, I actually agree with that. And talk about Patsy, right? We'll talk about a little bit of that tonight, too, if we get to it. Let's see. Congressional source now confirming nearly 300 FBI operatives embedded in the crowd on January 6th. So congressional source from the government is now admitting that during January 6th, they had 300 FBI agents in the audience that was approaching and going into the Capitol building. This was a complete and total setup. Thomas Massey says, for years, I was called a conspiracy theory for asking Garland, Ray, and Howitzer whether government assets participated in January 6th. Yesterday, I was vindicated. Department of Justice IG report confirms there were FBI confidential human resources in the crowd entering the Capitol and breaking laws. And again, this is from Senator Thomas Massey. FBI admits again to in this article, 275 plainclothes agents embedded in massive crowds. And once again, the conspiracy theorists were right. Everyone can pat themselves on the back. Sharpshooter says wars and rumors of wars. And if you guys, for all of you who read the Bible, you know that that's part of, the end predictions. Goodness. Moving on, the surgeon for, I don't know if all you guys know this, but I think the whole Charlie Kirk thing is absolutely a cover-up. And the more that I learn about it, the more questions that come. But the surgeon who fought for Charlie Kirk's life and his words cut like steel, that body became a wall, he declared. The round that should have ripped through and killed others stopped inside of him. It's a pure miracle. I had a real issue with this comment. for a whole bunch of reasons. You know, I don't know if any of you guys are super familiar with the 30-06. I am. The ballistics of that thing are serious. And I think just that statement alone contradicts the narrative from it.
What do you mean? I mean, do we know? We don't know if it was a 30-06.
That's what they said it was.
That's what they said it was. We don't know.
Yeah, here, China, Indiana Mike says China plus India plus Russia, 3 billion people versus 340 million in the United States. Yeah, great perspective. All right, you little. I catch him. I'm gonna go feed him to the spider. Let's see here. Candace Owens just released a clearer video of Tyler Robinson running away on the roof after shooting Charlie Kirk. She was able to directly track down the individual who filmed it, and they told her that law enforcement has never even contacted them. What?
I thought it was somebody recorded him up there.
Up there running across the.
I thought it was a still camera.
No.
From like a light post.
No, she shows the video of a person running across there, but says that the person has never been contacted. Listen closely to the dispatch. He did not go in for an autopsy, they say. So they're not even doing an autopsy on that guy. The death certificate was signed by the doctor at the hospital. No autopsy signed off inside the hospital of a political assassination, a homicide, and an active investigation. That's got to be weird, guys. To me, that's just absolutely beyond.
If he died at the hospital, they don't have to do an autopsy there.
Mm-hmm. No, but they didn't have one. They closed cased it.
But I thought that they were looking for the bullet. I thought that there was no bullet wound, and there was no exit wound, and they were looking for the bullet.
Yeah, the doctor said that it stopped the bullet dead, which would assume there would be one. I actually think what we seen was an exit wound. When you actually seen the point of his neck, that was the actual exit wound. But we'll get to that. But by state law, in Utah, a hospital is required to perform an autopsy during any homicide investigation. How was not an autopsy done in the assassination of Kirk? Everyone wants to know, right? And then this one really blew me away when you were listening to the audio of the emergency management. It says, listen closely, dispatch audio captures multiple instructions not to interview a person of interest immediately after Charlie Kirk's assassination. So remember there were the couple people who early that they said were persons of interest, and they talked to them and they pretty quick let them go. But there was another person that they held, and the FBI, and I listened to the audio of it. But it says, as per SBI and the FBI, we were given clear instructions not to interview anybody. Why would you do that? I mean, wouldn't you want the information to be as fresh as it could possibly be? Right?
I don't know.
Yeah. And my buddy Billy Bonds from Permapasture Farms says, why isn't anyone asking the obvious? How did Tyler Robinson even get on the roof in the first place? He didn't just jump up there like Spider-Man. If he went through the roof hatch, then there are bolt cutters he supposedly used to cut the lock. And where's the C4 he must have carried to below the secure door that leads to the hatch? I do find that an interesting point, because if you remember him running across, he jumps off the building.
Yeah.
But no one's talked about how he got up there. Right. Nobody knows nothing.
There was no stairs going up there? Wasn't he climbing the stairs and he was limping because he had the gun in his pants?
I don't think that was to that building, but maybe. Let's keep going on. This is what I found interesting. You probably won't like this, but I purposely didn't do any of the gory stuff. But this is what I find fascinating about it. If you look,
that's his mic.
It's his mic right there, right?
Oh, but, wait, okay. No, didn't he? He picks up a mic.
He picks up a mic.
He always picks up a mic.
He does. He does. But I want you to look at this top picture to the top right. See that mic right there on his shirt? And this is all of these frames are within the same second. Okay, there's his mic. And look at this picture. See that white? The none guys I'm talking about. The next picture on the bottom. The first picture on the bottom. See that white right there?
Yeah.
That's not up here. Okay, so it goes from there to there, and then look at his shirt, which would indicate to me that it's coming from that direction. And I would argue that it went in there and exited his neck.
Well, that he was over that way, right? Robinson was on his right upper side.
Yes, but how would someone up on a roof fire and get here and go upward? That makes no sense.
So you think that this is an entry wound, or you're saying that this is a microphone?
I think it's a microphone, and some of the theories that are out there, and I don't know what's true, guys, and I don't know that we ever will, but many people are now saying the nation that used exploding pagers also used an exploding lapel mic.
No, wow.
But look at it. I mean, you make your own conclusion, but look at what I think is so fascinating is the second picture. Look at that white right there. There is clearly something coming from that, right? If you compare it to that first picture.
Well, a bullet wouldn't make a white puff. What is that?
We don't know. What if it's an explosion? What if it's gunpowder? What if it's, I don't know what's coming, but something changed right there. My point is
a shadow.
Remember when you seen the video? The theory of, and you guys can't see what I'm doing, but the theory of it coming like this and hitting his neck cannot be.
No, I thought it went this away. I thought it just like barely nicked him.
Would you agree you can't shoot from bottom to up if you're above the target?
Yeah. I mean, gravity goes only one way.
Yeah. I'm going to get some comments here real quick. Let's see here. Carrie says, I read that Charlie was possibly a future presidential candidate. I would agree with that, and was obviously pretty popular. His wife and Megyn Kelly did a podcast together that had over 1 billion views. I've never seen a podcast have 1 billion views. I mean, someone out there has, let me know, but I've never seen it. Jen said Stephen Gardner did a complete walk around, and the staircase he was walking up when the picture was taken had a 2-foot high pony wall to the roof. And if he went up that way, why didn't he just go down that way? Especially if he had a gun tied to his leg.
He probably didn't want to go in the building. He was trying to.
Yeah. The Citizen broadcaster said someone said that was a cord from his earpiece. Yeah, I don't know, but it sure looks like to me.
It would make sense if he had an earpiece, because he was. Why would he have a microphone on his lapel and then reach down and pick up a microphone?
Because you're recording. We do that all the time. When we did our interview with Tom Holman that one time. I mean, he had a mic, and we had mics everywhere because you're picking up different cases of audio for different reasons.
They don't make static when there's.
No, you're talking about different companies.
Different area. It goes going.
The one on his lapel could have been them recording for Turning Point, and the one that he's speaking at belongs to the college. Right. But what I can tell you is there's absolute movement. Would you agree? The difference between the first picture and the second picture, there's absolute movement. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's nothing white up here.
Yeah.
There's movement of something.
Well, and somebody said that he was wearing a bulletproof vest.
He
wasn't.
But
then somebody else said there's absolutely no way he was, because they were like, we saw he was in front of me.
It's been confirmed.
You could see through his shirt.
Yeah, broadcaster says, I also watched a video where the F on his shirt disappeared and then reappeared. Yeah,
like a fold. No,
like it's AI, like it's a blinking. Remember how I showed you the video of him running across the roof and his shadow disappears?
Yeah.
And again, I promise I don't know what is AI and what isn't, right? Hippocrates is going to save the day by a new theory. Time traveler came back to our time and Citizen broadcaster said also Charlie's lower part of his face blurred out. Yeah, I think from these pictures, assuming that these are the real pictures, which I'm smart enough to know that
they could be modified.
There's something different. Juby Joe says, why do this? What do you mean, why do this? Why talk about the craziness that goes on in our world? Because that's what I do. Why
talk about how he died? Why talk about if it's a exploding microphone or a bullet or a earpiece or?
Yeah, because I think there's a far difference between a deranged young man on a roof with a sniper rifle and us being sold that and some completely different story.
Yeah, because if it was an exploding earpiece, that's a whole different.
Yeah, and Juby, I got rid of every piece of gore I could get rid of. I purposefully.
Well, I think too that when you feel so connected to something, a cause or a person or a reason, then you want answers. And so I did that with my nephew. I went back and forth through all of the paperwork trying to figure out what. I couldn't bring it back, but just coroner got that wrong. Oh, so and so got that wrong. Oh, the police got that wrong. In the paperwork, but. In the end of the time, in the end of the story, it was still the facts are I couldn't bring him back. This guy's not coming back. And
I think there's some merit to saying at this point, what does it matter? As Hillary Clinton once said, because at the end of the day, whether it was a deranged kid that was educated in our school system and, manufactured and created, or whether it was, an Israeli sniper or whatever it ends up being, we still have the problem of this big system that's corrupt against us. Right. So maybe it doesn't matter, but I don't like it when the official story and nothing matters, nothing matches up. And the more I think we learn, the more I think that's what it is. Gypsy said, Tag, I heard he had a bulletproof vest on. I had heard that in the beginning, but most Turning Point, Candace Owens, a lot of them have said there was no bulletproof vest. Now, I know in the beginning they said that a lot.
There were people in the crowd that said that he did not have one on. Packrat
said he uses picking up a mic. He uses picking up a mic as a visual clue when he's debating somebody. That's interesting. What about the trap door that opens up? See, that's another one. That was so weird.
What trap door?
So where
in the
he is
on the roof?
No, where he was at, where Charlie Kirk was at, when they removed the stage and all of that, and they were taking everything down. There was a set of stairs going down.
To what?
I don't know. I didn't walk down the stairs.
Wasn't he in a field?
No, he was in a stadium. He had no earpiece in it. Was his necklace that flew off. That's what I heard as well, Jamie. Welcome in, by the way. Let's see here. Life with Mike and Jen said, just like many other incidences, we will never know the truth. We had to make peace with that. Juby Joe says, why talk about the ifs? Because not talking about the ifs has gotten us where we are. Questioning nothing has gotten us where we are. This is why we have the most educated, ignorant people in the history of the world living in our world today. I want to question it, and I want answers, and not just even for this. I mean, I want to know, was the election really stolen? What really happened on January 6th? Because what I think is it's a big systematic thing. It's oppression on a mass scale. And we're just the dumb ones living, in the Truman Show. Right.
Because we don't know any better.
Perfectly said. Yep. Tim Riley said, saw a clip today from his left side that showed the bullet or shrapnel on a downward trajectory in front of his knees. Interesting. I have not seen that.
Well, that's totally different.
Juby Joe says, I don't care that you challenge my opinion. I know you don't. And I think it's healthy. And I don't care that you challenge mine. I don't care that you always stand up for my wife and pick on me. It's fine. Conservative friend says, I learned a new term, transfurry. I have no idea what that is.
Is trans that person that dresses up? That's that guy.
No, I think that's a cat that wants to be a dog. Can you guys hear our dogs howling out there? That's funny.
Sounds.
Yeah, love runs rampant is realizing the lie is important. And I 100% agree with.
Yeah.
Let's see, we're running out of time. So you guys see the stuff going. Yeah, there you go, Mo. Truth is important. Yep. Do you guys see the stuff on all the Tylenol? And I'm not even talking about Trump saying that Tylenol is what causes autism, which everything I'm reading says it's Tylenol in conjunction with vaccines. But I think it's absolutely crazy that people, just because Trump said it, and there are cases of pregnant women taking a handful of Tylenol just to piss Trump off, who are now in intensive care in the hospital. And if you're willing to risk the life of yourself and your baby just purely to show that you don't like Trump, you're never negotiating with that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how in the world are you ever going to, how in the world are we ever going to know? But, oh my goodness. Let me see here. None of the studies linking prenatal Tylenol with autism account for the vaccination. Right. And again, what I'm reading is that it's some combination, thereof. Juby Joe says, I think we know, and it's redundant. I think, Juby Joe, one of the challenges we have in this world is not everybody's you, and not everybody is where you are in your journey. There are people in this live tonight that are watching for the very first time, right? That are learning how to challenge the narrative and those kind of things. So I think to say that I think we know and it's redundant, I think we should redefine. And what does that actually mean? Because I don't necessarily think that is everybody. Jen says, Benghazi still makes me livid. Me too, right? After seeing the horrific pictures and zero accountability, right? And as she said, for that, at this point, what does it matter?
I'm just glad you didn't say some of us are slow.
Jamie says, Tag, when I win the lottery, I'm going to help you guys out with everything you need. When you win the lottery, Jamie, come buy a piece of land and be my neighbor. That would help me out with everything that I need. Let's see here. Let's get to the comments. What happens in Nashville on Christmas Day? What happened in Las Vegas? Only the largest mass shooting in our nation's history. Right. And it's just washed right under the rug. And what happens to it is we get more regulation, right? We get a bump fire stock ban, right? Which any of you guys who own one, that ban is the dumbest thing ever. But anyway, Love Runs Rampant says it's just like Batman. Combine this and that, and you get dead. Yeah. Well, we are talking about age group who thought about eating Tide Pods was funny. Well, this absolutely blows me away. How I don't care. There's no amount of hate in my heart I could have for somebody that would make me hurt my kids.
Yeah.
No amount.
You mean a pregnant woman?
Yes,
purposefully swallowing handfuls of Tylenol.
Yes, there's one particular story that's out there that a girl took a handful. She's pregnant. She's now miscarried and is in intensive care in the hospital.
Yeah, kidney shutting down or what?
Yeah, how is she going to live with that the rest of her life?
Well, if her organs are shutting down, she won't.
I mean, absolutely insane.
Which
to me, I just can't fathom how you would attack your own kind. How you protect your own kids for
it's happening all over the place.
For what? Like, what do you hope to gain for to get 27 likes on a video?
People.
Oh my goodness! Let me tell you something. Those people who are willing to do that for the social media attention, for whatever it is, you're never going to negotiate with them.
There's parents out there that purposefully pimp out their kids. There's parents out there who kill their kids. There are people out there who there's all kinds of awful people in this world.
That's sad. Hippocrates says no problem. She likely doesn't consider it a baby anyway. It's just a lung of cells. That hurts my heart. Let's see here. Did you guys hear that in Europe, United Kingdom Prime Minister says digital ID will now be mandatory for their citizens to have the right to work. And again, you guys remember we talked about this, I don't even know, 8 or 10 lives ago, we talked about they will use this as a way to control, they'll say they're using it to control immigration. How insane is this? And we talked about this before.
How does that help immigration?
Bring in a bunch of immigrants to cause a bunch of problems, to allow the government to create rules to control us. And the rules they control us will be built on the guise that there's too many immigrants. We have to control them. You need digital ID.
To control them?
So
I need a digital ID?
The pitch he's making is that because of the immigrant problem, we need digital ID on every citizen, and you won't be allowed to work without it. If you don't have a digital ID, you can't work.
Oh, so like have the digital ID to prove who you are.
That's right. And so the citizens can work in a non-citizen.
It's like, where's your green card?
Yeah, right. We're here to protect you. And that's how they usher in digital ID. To a thundering applause.
Yeah, some of us are slower than others. Sorry.
Right? Digital ID is not required to control immigration. It's required to control you. That's exactly 100% right. Juby Joe says, explain the visual. Well, that's self-explanatory, right? I mean, in that it's not required to control immigration. It's designed to control you. They created the problem with the immigration. They created the solution with digital ID. With the digital ID, they'll get rid of immigration, and now they'll control you. They're going to control everything you buy, everywhere you go. They bought that with Trump, which Trump did it. Hired Planeteer to come in and create that massive database that will link everything together. As soon as you have a digital ID, they will know every single thing that goes on. And then right behind this will be the digital currency, and it will all flow together and to a thundering applause. They won't even have to be pissed because we're going to vote for it. Right? You can always work, just can't get paid. Right? That's actually a very good point. You could work for eggs, I guess, right? Yeah. Mandy says, no matter what they do, it's always a lie. Those who give up their freedom for safety deserve neither, and I could not agree more. Let's see here. President Trump puts his foot down and says Israel is banned from annexing the West Bank. This was also super fascinating. Trump has been a big Israel supporter. And I don't know if you guys noticed that Netanyahu went to the UN to give a speech, and 90% of the people walked out. And then Trump says, hey, we're not doing this anymore. And again, I think lines are being drawn. China says at the United Nations meeting that they must terminate the membership of Israel for its inhumane actions against Gaza. So I think this is also insane. So we just got to think all the way back to the beginning of the live. Why did he call all the generals together? Right. And then think about how all of these things are interlinked. He says, all right, Israel, you're not allowed to do this. Netanyahu, most people won't listen to him speak. China's calling for their removal. And Trump, because you promised you Hegseth don't do that stuff on his own, calls all the generals back into the office. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about, kind of that whole entire picture. Oh, look at that. I made it to the end. Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah, pretty cool. We haven't done that in a whole bunch of weeks. I know, right? Guys, I think it is all completely connected, and I'm trying to understand the dots. And again, I think, in fairness, Juby Joe's early comment when we were talking about what's the point of talking about it? Because there's so many pieces I don't understand. And how does it all link together? How is Charlie Kirk's assassination tied to Trump walking away from Israel? right? Charlie Kirk was critical of Israel, right? Is Trump now taking the side of Charlie Kirk? I don't know. I mean, I don't know these answers, but I certainly know that they are certainly all linked. I promise you, they did not call all the generals home for nothing. I promise you this, right? There's something. I just, obviously don't know what it is. And so I'm going to keep exploring, and I hope you guys keep exploring. David said, and I think it's a great quote, absolutely question everything. And I couldn't agree more. And guys, I don't pretend to have all of the answers, but I'm going to keep digging at them and I keep exploring them because I really do think it's all connected. I would actually argue Charlie Kirk and the COVID vaccine are connected. Right?
His assassination?
It's connected because it's all a big psyop. It's all a big get control of the people. It's all big government.
Like him starting Turning Point and him getting as big as he did, like that's part of the
no,
or that what?
No, I'll say it a different way. So in my opinion, they created COVID for control. They wanted to see what they could get away with.
I can see that.
You got that? And they took Charlie out because he was a threat to them.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think
they were trying to shut him up.
I think it is a big game right now, the New World Order against everybody else. And I think games are being played.
I can see that.
Yeah. And it would not surprise me at all to hear one day that Russia, which by the way, Putin just said yesterday in a speech that he is going to go after the New World Order. His words, not mine. Right. So if you got Putin, Xi Jinping, the leader, of India, and Trump saying, okay, guys, we're going to have to go to war against the rest of the world and half of our own countries to stop the deep state stuff. But then that doesn't make sense because China's got digital light. I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand who's on which side, but I can tell you with a fact that there is a lot of shenanigans going on and we are absolutely being lied
Is there a
to.
bug that's bothering you?
No.
Something's bothering me.
Do you count you as a bug?
Yes.
Because then you're bothering me. Whatever the question, divide and conquer is the answer. Yes, 100%. Nito says, so glad that we at least got started on our solar. Hope to get it done before whatever is going to happen happens. You're a long way. You've got the equipment, right?
Yeah.
So I can send you those who can. Tell me the answer. Yeah, I'm going to be skeptical of them too because it's just so hard to understand. Kennedy wanted to abolish the Fed and the IRS, and that didn't work out well for him. Great point. Different levels of chess. Who we may think is a knight or a bishop, to them is merely a pawn. Perfect. Look up the stuff on Erica Kirk. Yeah, I've read some of it. I just haven't dug into it deep enough to feel confident enough to sit up here, Jamie, in front of all of you guys and say, this is what I think.
What, from like what she's doing now or from her previous life?
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on now that she's now being questioned for a bunch of things. Like, hey, what about this? And what about this? And like her whole incident with, Trump on stage. And I don't know. But it's just like the whole Charlie Kirk thing. I looked at every single, of the stories of the guy shooting the knuckle gun. And there's this, and a lot of it, I'm like, this doesn't really make sense. But when I watched the video of the shirt doing in the order, I mean, your shirt don't go like this unless it's coming from the opposite direction. You don't do it just by itself. I mean, that's physics.
Would wind take it?
Wind?
Like with
Have you ever seen a wind take my shirt and go like this?
With a bullet.
No, wind goes like this.
Talking about with a bullet.
Yeah, I don't know.
As the projectile is coming, will it take a?
Yeah. So a bit complicated, but not when you get to the bottom line. Yeah, Mario says, who's on first? I don't even know who's on the team, Mario. Help me out. Let's just start that. Can you just tell me who's on the team? Who's on which team? And this will help my process a ton. Ready, Mario? Go. Who's on the team? I don't know. Skanes Girl says, liberal ideology killed Charlie Kirk. Defend your beliefs aggressively. No surrender, no retreat. Oh, sorry, they're talking together. She says, I can't say the key word for research. Leveron Dram says, like recoil, I think is what she's saying. Yeah, I don't think that would do that. I mean, I have shot a lot of rounds downrange in my life.
But not at a shirt.
This is not how it works, babe. I just have a hard time believing it. Mo says, oh yeah, wait, okay, hold on. Mo's got a really great point, Mario. So your task, let's skip who's on the team. Let's start with what sport we're playing. Yeah. Mario says the team consists of your mama, your daddy, and your bald-headed granny. Yeah. I'm sorry, they're talking together. I'm on team homesteading community. David, I'm on the same team, bud. And you know what, David? I admire you for a lot of things. There's a lot of things you say that I line up perfectly with me. Some not, but a lot of them it is. You keep staying strong to who you are and don't change who you are. And keep pushing the alternative narratives. You know, Mo Engineer, who's in here, does that to me all the time. You know, I think I'm headed down the right path, and then he'll ask a question and I'll want to throw my pen and go to bed. You know, but I think those things are good for all of us. But guys, we're at the 2-hour mark, and because we're at the 2-hour mark, I'm a stickler for this kind of thing. And we're going to get out of here. You got any parting words you want to leave everybody with?
Gosh, with all the good news, I think that people should, if there's something you've been meaning to do, I think you should go do it.
Yeah.
Or take care of, or prioritize and cross off as you go.
Yeah, you know, Garen was talking about that to me.
Oh.
He was talking about, he thinks one of the mistakes that a lot of homesteaders make is they skip the prepping phase.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of value in that too. And that, you know, you got to make sure that you always got a year. You got to make sure you always got those things in place, because we don't know what the truth is. And if you prepare for those things, I think you can. I think the one thing I would add to B's thing is we've got to also look at the 30,000-foot view. I think the selfish view that a lot of homesteaders, I did too, so I'll point my finger at me too, that homesteaders and preppers make is take care of me, take care of me, take care of me. But at some point that is not sustainable. You know, we've got to really look at what kind of world we're going to leave behind. This is why we get involved at the local level. And this is why you guys should get involved, to at least just get out there and make a dent. And I understand the argument. I don't want to put the attention on me. I don't want them to retaliate me. But if we wait, it's going to be 10 times worse. We got to go do it now. We got to be able to risk it now. Do it with, you know, politeness. Do it with respect. You know, I have a good relationship with my commissioners. They absolutely know that I will put it down, but they absolutely know too, I'm not going to stand there and call them names.
Right. That's just,
you know, and I think we just got to go get in the fight. And so I'm going to encourage all of you guys tonight to go get in the fight. Go find a way to get involved. Go speak. Go stand and do that, even if your voice trembles. We're going to get out of here. Be
out.
Tag out.
Hold the line.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.